Welcome back to episode number 12 of Arabella's LCI. Well, in previous episodes, we have concluded the second component of the LCI named as literature search. And today, we will start with the third component of the LCI, the existing solutions. This component of the LCI introduced the academic inventors with the concept that how much it is important to learn from the existing solutions before inventing any technology. You know that academic inventors are very good in reading the literature articles. And in our previous episode, we were also emphasizing that an academic inventor must also look for patents. In episode number 4, we have learned about the first component of the LCI. And in episode number 7, we learned about the second component of the LCI. Today in episode number 12, we will learn the third component of the LCI, the existing solution. So we have seen the articles and we have seen the patents. Now what? In order to further enrich the literature search for the invention, in order to solve the real world practical problem, the third component of the LCI now proposes an academic inventor to look for the existing solutions already available in the market. There are two advantages of learning from the existing solutions before coming up with a new invention. The first advantage is that we will not spend time, energy, and funding on inventions which are already available. And the second advantage is that if you can really explore what are the limitations in these existing solutions, your invention would automatically become a novel. Because then you will try to propose and introduce something new in the solutions. There is also an added advantage of looking for the existing solutions. And that added advantage is that at the time of invention disclosures, when an academic inventor will discuss about his or her invention with the technology managers at the technology transfer offices, they will have all those points listed down. That in fact what makes their invention novel and what would be the viability of that invention in the marketplace in future. For component 1 and component 2 of the LCI, if you remember from the previous episodes, there were certain questions. There were checklists and there were some hands-on activities. Those were supporting these two components. The same will happen with the component 3 of the LCI. It means that as gradually we move on with the third component of LCI, we will see certain questions that an academic inventor or an entrepreneur needs to answer. We will see LCI checklist number 3 that will support these questions and a couple of hands-on activities that will help academic inventors or entrepreneurs to really answer the questions that the third component of the LCI is raising. Let us now see what is the question of LCI component number 3. The third component of the LCI asks academic inventors and entrepreneurs a question of why existing solutions fail to solve the real-world practical problem. This question can only be answered if it is based on evidences collected after reviewing the existing solutions in the market in terms of their presence and shortcomings. This major question of the third component of the LCI has two sub-questions that support the information. The sub-questions are: what are the existing solutions available in the market? And what are the limitations of the existing solutions available in the market? In fact, if it is important for an academic inventor to answer the question of LCI component 3, these two support questions are very important to answer first. Until unless an academic inventor or an entrepreneur is not aware from the existing solutions and the limitations of the existing solutions, he or she cannot justify then why existing solutions so far are not solving the real world problem. So it is very important for an academic inventor or an entrepreneur to answer this major question of the LCI along with two sub-questions of this third component. These three questions can be answered if we explore in depth the LCI checklist number 3. In previous components, we have already observed that every question has a supportive checklist and hands-on activities. So here, let us learn what this LCI checklist 3 demands from the academic inventor and the entrepreneur. The LCI checklist number 3 have 6 items. Let's see these items individually. The first item of the LCI checklist number 3 asks for listing of solutions of the real-world practical problem already available in the market. Now we know that in every market, multiple products are available which can solve similar problems. Let's take an example of a blood pressure apparatus. For example, there are certain blood pressure monitor apparatus available from Omron, few may be available from Microlife, few may be available from A&D and some others too. Each of these components would have some distinct features. Maybe some of them can be used in the hospitals and maybe few of them would be suitable enough to use in the homes. So depending upon the characteristics and features of the same product, different variety already exists in the market. So when an academic inventor or an entrepreneur is looking for similar solutions, they need to see what are the features that make these different products distinct from each other. Item number 2 of the LCI checklist number 3 asks about exploration of similar problems and solutions beyond the single industry. Let me share a story with you. When I was doing my masters in University of Sussex, I learned a case study, and that case study was from 3M. 3M was working on a research project for the development of adhesive material to be used for contouring skin during the surgery. So they were looking for feasible technologies to be utilized during the surgery. And do you know what they did? They went to the makeup industry. And into that makeup industry, they interacted with the artists. Those artists who had the technology of applying masks on faces. So by learning lessons from how these artists apply masks on the faces, 3M came up with a technology that could be used as an adhesive material for contouring skins during the surgery. So it is advisable for academic inventors and entrepreneurs to not only look for solutions within the same industry, but the solutions could really be available outside the industry too. The LCI checklist number 3 then offers item number 3. And item number 3 says limitations of the existing solutions and reasons behind failing to exactly solve the real-world practical problem. So let's learn with an example of adhesive bandages for item number 3. We know that we could have different sizes and different shapes of adhesive bandages that we apply on skin. There may be different features. If they want some bandages waterproof, if we want them for sensitive skins, this company solved a problem of visibility related to adhesive bandages. It was observed in big hotels that while cook prepare the food in the kitchens, and if there is some cut on their skins and if they are applying the adhesive bandages, it was not visible. So it was somehow compromising the hygiene of the food. So in order to come up with this limitation, the Ducal company gave a simple formula of just changing the color of these adhesive bandages. They come up with blue bandages, and with those blue bandages, they solve the limitation of hygiene and visibility in the kitchens. Item number 4 of the LCI checklist 3 then talks about patents associated with the existing solutions and their market status. Well, let's again learn from these adhesive bandages. You can find several patents available at the website of USPTO or even EPO, that's a European Patent Organization. So there are several patents that talks about the adhesive bandages. For example, there is one patent with the title of adhesive bandage construction with the name of inventor Peter Weiland and with IPC with A61F1300. For example, another patent has a title of adhesive bandages for a digit of a human hand or foot with IPC number A61F13105. They can be used for fingers, hands and even smaller area for the nail protection invented by Raymond Levy. For example, the third patent, which is from European Patent Organization with the title of Absorbent Adhesive Dressing and invented by Bolton Laura Lee. The interesting point with this patent is that this patent was applied by a company, Johnson & Johnson. And from this information that we can gain from those patents, we can directly touch upon the company who are in fact licensing these patents. This we can explore from the website of Johnson & Johnson, where we can see different products on their website under the umbrella of consumer healthcare and medical technologies. These in fact talk about those products who have patents granted and licensed by the Johnson & Johnson company. With this point, in fact, we are meeting the item number 5 of the LCI checklist 3, which asks about listing of companies licensing patents for offering existing solutions. Now, then finally look into item number 6 of the LCI checklist 3. It says, justification behind how the proposed invention can meet the highlighted limitations of the existing solutions. Here, what an academic inventor and an entrepreneur can do, they're taking lessons from all the items from the LCI checklist 3. So far so good. Those were talking about the existing solutions, their availability in the market, patents associated to that, and the companies who are using those patents or licensing those patents. After learning from all these limitations, an academic inventor now in a position to propose something which is new. That is new in terms of solving the real-world practical problem which have not been solved by the existing solutions today. How this information can be explored on the internet? Well, we know that simple search through Google is always possible. But if you remember, in our previous episodes, we were talking about certain open and proprietary databases. And the open and proprietary databases were distinct when we're talking about research articles. They were distinct when we're talking about patents. And of course, they will be distinct when we're talking about the business reports in order to explore the existing solutions. The LCI checklist number 3 also highlights the list of those proprietary databases through which it is possible for an academic inventor or an entrepreneur to explore in detail information related to industries and companies. For example, these databases would be known as PubMed, IBIS World, BCC Research, CAS Science Finder, NVCA, MarketResearch.com, DNB Movers, Global Data PLC, and many more. These databases share business-related reports which talks about different situations that exist in industries and companies. They publish white papers related to these companies, and even they offer SWOT analysis related to different products and their portfolios. Well, exploring these business reports could be a costly endeavor, but of course, solutions are already available. These reports are very expensive, no doubt, but still there are some options available through which the smaller portions of these reports can be explored. Suppose an executive summary is available for an academic inventor to look for the existing solutions through these business reports. and even an added feature of searching inside the reports for small components of those business report is possible. For that, a tip can further be utilized. And a tip is that whenever an academic inventor or an entrepreneur is looking for the inventions or for the existing solutions of the invention within quotation marks, it is suggested to also write down the word global market. So we can write down the word global market within the quotation mark along with the existing solutions while you're going for the search. There's larger chances that you'll get executive summaries of those reports in return. And reading those executive summaries can of course make academic inventors and entrepreneurs aware with the existing situations of companies and industries. Well, so far so good. We learned about one basic question of the third component of the LCI. Its two sub-questions. We explored with the help of examples 6 items of the LCI checklist 3. And we also learned about certain databases, those are available. We observed that though they are expensive, but even within universities, the academic inventors or entrepreneurs can seek assistance from technology transfer offices if they have an access to certain databases. But in our next episode, we will gradually learn the associated hands-on activities in support of answering the 3 questions of this component and in support of the 6 items of the LCI checklist 3. For a while, we conclude here episode number 12. And in episode number 13, we will start to learn the hands-on activities supporting the LCI component number 3, existing solutions. Take care of self. See you in episode number 13. Thank you.